Good morning, traders. Welcome to daily webinar. I'm back in Dubai, so thank you guys for keeping it going while I was a little on and off. This webinar will also be on YouTube. So for the YouTube viewers, if you like what I do, please share it. You might help someone who is struggling. If you think it's useful. If you don't think it's useful, then I assume you're not watching my videos, right? If you're watching it, you're finding it very useful, the way we expect the market to move, right? And how it works. So announcement for you guys in YouTube. I would be doing a 1 week free access to my trading room. We did this once before. We'll do it again. You'll have 1 week free access, 2 sessions or 3 sessions a day. Most likely you'll get 2 sessions a day, which is this session here now. That is the early session in the London, for the London market. And maybe we'll do it in the London Open. Maybe we'll do it now. We'll figure that out. And one for the New York session. The link for that will be in part 2 of today's webinar. I'll do today's webinar in 2 parts. The Forex part, and then I'll do the cryptos and stocks. So if you like what I do and you think somebody else might be interested in this kind of thing, please share the link, right? Share the link to anyone you think that might be interested. There's no obligation. It's absolutely free. You come, you see what we do in the trading room, you join us. You like it, you like it. You don't like it, you don't find it interesting, because not everybody will find this interesting. I hope everybody finds it, because it's the most accurate forecasting tool you ever got, right? Wave analysis. And the way we looked at it is unique, because this is something I created, right? The way we looked at wave analysis is the way I created. You see anything about wave analysis out there, think of me, because I started it. You see anything about Elliott wave, that's a whole different way of looking at the charts, right? That's counting and all of those things that are, out of a little too outdated, put it that way. Anyway, let's go. So we'll start the recording. Record. Oh, it's already recording. Okay, so let's go. Dollar index. As we explained last week, this starts to look like a consolidation. This starts to look like a consolidation once you get this and you get this. And once you break the low, this was a sell actually in a shorter term, but then you start to look for the buy setup. So every time you break the lows, you start to look for the buy setup upwards. This buy we took, that didn't go very well. By that, I mean probably break even. This one would have given you trade. Now that might have been news. I wasn't there Friday, I was flying. So I wasn't in on Friday. I think we actually were selling the break of this, or the break of this. We were selling that because we were selling for the break of this low, which would have been taking your profit here on the break of the low. Now, would we have got this trade? I think we could have got it from here, depending if there was a news that pushed it or not. You could have got the trade from here or from the breakout of this one. That would have been a buy setup. That's based on the way we trade, the strategy we used, right? No problem. You're breaking the top. Remember, this is a top. This is a big, huge daily, yearly top, monthly, yearly, daily, whatever you want to call it, top. We're getting some divergence, or at least it's starting to look like we're getting some divergence. We can't confirm that until it turns. So there's probably more upside, but you'll have to trade with caution. Every time you break that top, you have to trade with caution. Now, I don't have the time here to explain that, but probably in one of the sessions in the free webinar, if you ask me why, I will tell you why. So let's go, 4 hours. So on the 4 hours, we've got a very good consolidation, which means you might get an impulse up like this. Rarely they just break the top on a 4-hour structure where they'll just break the top and reverse. It's possible, but it's rare. Normally, they will give you a certain amount of impulse to the upside with a few corrections. It might start to even slow down. If you start to see that slow down, what you're thinking is a drop. If you start to see accelerating, what you're thinking is more upside, more momentum. But sometimes they also do this. They will accelerate really fast, reverse, and then that becomes the start of the bigger downside, which means the yearly downside. I've shown you that pattern. We're not going to do it today because I'm a little late. I'm a little in a hurry today, and we'll exaggerate later in the few webinars. So dollar index, more upside. Any flag, buy. Literally any flag, buy. Buy it with caution. Silver, downside. This was the last sell that I left with. Before, that was early in the morning, so you probably would have closed it here. Before the news, in the news, we would have looked for a sell. This would have been a sell in the news. It went up first. I can see that it probably went up first, come back down. On the way down, you could have sold it again, right? That's a possibility. Not buy. We wouldn't be looking for a buy there. So I'll consider you got that trade, and I'm not sure whether my traders were in the room for the news. Normally, I am the one who does that. So we'll see. Looks good. We're breaking the low. Very likely, we're going to break this low. So there's more sell setups here. Any flag, we sell to break this low. And then from that point, we will see whether we're going to be ready for the upside. Because remember, all of this Still looks like a consolidation. So breaking this low could be the point from where we start to either make a deeper correction, come back here, or totally go out. Now, all of this is looking very nice at consolidation, which means we're coming back to this low, but in a corrective way. This is an impulse. You can see the difference. This is correction. So at some point, this goes back up and then start to come down, depending on the depth of this, right? So the deeper we come into the impulse, the higher the probability is that is a big flat, big correction for more downside. The less we come into this, the higher the probability is there's more momentum to continue up. We're going to expect it to break this low, and then I would suggest we start looking for buy setups. Now, I don't know whether that is going to happen this week or next week, but right now, any flag you get will be a sell. There is a possibility, to be careful here, there is a possibility to get another sharp pullback. If you go into 15, we didn't break that up. So there's a very, you can make an argument for a 1, 2, 3 here, a 1, 2, 3. Expanding flat, very, very huge expanding flat. We've had a few of those. Or you can make a different argument. You can make an argument for this coming back here at some point and then dropping. If you start to see something like this going down there with deep pullback in them, that's a very good sign for upside eventually. So it's a sell setup. Right now, I think we will make a flag here. I don't think this is a flag. We have to come back here, go back there, get a flag like that. And that is going to be a sell setup. So I'm looking for a sell setup. I'll put that as a sell setup. Like this. Most of these are, let me clear these because you can see them, but that's since Friday morning before I left. So I'll just clear all of this and then we'll go back. Some of them are short-term trades. So like you'll see aggressive trades. Those were aggressive ones. And if you're asking me what our color codes are, it depends on what time frame we're taking the trade, which direction we're looking, and how aggressive the trade is. Right, so let's go. Goat. Sell setup. This would have been your sell. You should have closed that sell somewhere. Let me go back on the 1 hour. Even if you didn't close it, if you didn't manage to close this one you probably shouldn't have closed because this is just 1, 2 hours up. And then the drop. So the silver was a close. This one, maybe not. You probably wouldn't have been able to close that unless you close it and they pull back up this one. So when it went up there and it pulled back, if you close it here, that is good. Right? My traders might have seen that and close it there or close it anywhere here when it starts to go back up. If you didn't, then you get that trade. The sell would have come here under this low. And the sell would be to break this low. We broke the low. If you get another sell setup, take it. It needs to pull back. We'll let this pull back for the sell. Right, see, this is more consolidation. Let it come back here and consolidate like that. If it comes back like this, you get a nice running flat for a sell. Unless it comes back, you shouldn't be selling it. We already broke the low. So unless you get a really good flag, you're not trying to sell under the low. Now, where is the bigger picture? The bigger picture could be coming to break this low, which means this would be the correction. All the correction, sharp move down, correction, sharp move down. We're coming to break this low, which means there's a lot more to the downside. Right, we broke this low. All you need now is a flag to sell to get to this level. So we'll put a flag. We're waiting for a flag. Yeah, this one was a sell. This was the sell. This was the sell. If it keeps doing this, then we would assume that we're still in some kind of a correction. Right? If we keep doing this, we'll assume we're still in some kind of a correction. Or this could be, you're thinking two ways when you see this. You're thinking this is a big flat, which means a big running flat in the making, which means this would drop. Or you're thinking we'll just drop a little more here and a big flat for upside because it's huge. Normally, when you get such huge flats, you think both ways, 1, 2, 3, or total downside. I would go with the sell because we still have to break this low. If they come down back, you still have to break that low. So we look at it this way. This was it. This went up. We bought this. You would have closed it. We sold that. You could have sold this. And then now if you get the same thing here, you sell to this level. Now you wait for a flag here, right? In this one, we're actually waiting for a very good flag. So we'll sell to break this low. And when it breaks that low, two things is happening. It's either going to drop or reverse. You'll get break even. We'll look for a buy setup to the top. If it drops through this structure and drops through really fast, we're probably going to sell every flag after that. So I'll go with a sell setup. Euro. Pretty easy. This wasn't difficult by any means, right? You're supposed to look for the buy here first, break the top, look for the sell, right? Pretty. This is going to go down. This is not your sell. That was the low. Let me take that off. Any flag we sell. Any flag now. We broke this. We can actually put it like this, right? Any flag now becomes a sell setup. Wait for the flag. Remember, this is the low. This is the low. Where there's no more low to go there. That is the low. So turning points would be anytime you'll probably start to see divergence internal. We don't have it yet. So we have this divergence here, but we're not getting that internal divergence. Let's see in the daily. Yeah, you're getting it in the daily. So that might be the first good sign, getting that internal divergence in the daily. And probably the 4 hours. Yep, you're getting it in the 4 hours. So the internal divergence, start to look for, take every sell setup you get with caution. Any reversal we buy. So this, we'll take it with caution. Let's see. Wait for a sell setup. Bang. We're just waiting for this. This was an ideal one. You should have sold this. There's nowhere you guys didn't take this trade because we know this has to go. It has to come and break this low. All right, so I hope some of you took it. I'm not. This is, it came, it break this top even. So look for the drop under here. Anywhere you get a flag would have been a good sell there. It's still going, so that means any flag we sell, we only have to wait for flags because we don't have any trade right now. All the trades are gone. It's moving. You don't jump into it and it's moving. You wait for the correction flag or something and then we sell, which means we're probably going to see the same thing everywhere. This one was a buy. The buy shouldn't have been here. That was Monday. That was the morning. We broke the low. The buy should have been here. Break even trade. You broke the top. You look for the sell. All right. So let's see. It's coming down. Wait for a flag. We're going to break. Take that out like this. I don't know if you would have taken that sell because I don't see anywhere to sell it. Okay, but the buy would have been a break even or a very, very small loss because once it breaks the top, that was an aggressive trade. Right now we know we're coming to break this low. So any sell setup you get, we'll take it. Any flag here would come to break this low. So we know where they're all going. Pong has some more to go. Aussie has more to go. Wait for flags, which means we're going to be looking for flags on all of them. New Zealand, the same thing. This one was the sell already. We were selling this to come on, to tag this low and then either break out or go back up. It kind of pulled back here and then drop. So maybe, let me see. Maybe you would have closed the trade and re-enter. No, this is just 1 hour. That's 1 hour, so there's no reason to close it. 1, 2, and the third one actually dropped through, right? So that would not be a closing. Let's see, put it, you can, this is actually D flat. That was a small flag inside of it, right? This is actually a flag, that's a small flag. Any other flag we said, we're actually making a flag here already. I would say put an entry order in this. This is the only one that you can probably put an entry order. It's a 15-minute aggressive trade. Yep, that's a 15-minute flag. Treat it like a 15-minute aggressive. What that means that it can pull back and make a bigger flag, but that's a good 15-minute flag to trade to the downside. Break this low, see how far it goes, move your stop. You're trying to get it to break this low. And then from there, we're going to go. Nothing changed from Friday. It's just that you have to wait. If you want to wait for a more confirmed flag here, nothing is wrong with that because there's possible it will tag you and pull back. Yen, because they all have some more to go. I think yen was the only surprise because I would have actually traded this to come and break this low first, then go back up. Right? That would be the trade. So this would have probably been the only surprise. And if anybody was trading there and you took this trade, you probably would have taken it as a loss. Probably would have got a close out here, or you would have closed it out in there. So this would have been a loss because I would definitely thinking this would drop and break this low before it goes there. Now, because it didn't break the low, we can make an assumption, but it did break the structure. We can make the assumption that we either have a contracting flat here. We can go with a contracting flat, or we can assume that we're making a running flat. Now, the sharpness of this is why I think we'll go with a contracting flat. Because if it was a running flat, we will still be doing this and then look for this down. But because this went up so sharp, which is more of an impulse, we will go with a contracting flat, not breaking the low. So that would be a contracting flat, and then watch it. It's still in this one, right? We're still in that one. We haven't broken out of it, right? This is still a correction going upwards. Let's see how that goes. I don't think we have. I wouldn't really like to put it with this one because this is really corrective and that is really huge. So, and the upside, if we break the top, we would either look at this. It's still pretty sharp. We might consider whether that's the running flat, especially if we get a turning, or we might consider making a running flat here, right? Which means this could come back here, go there, come back here, and then go back up before we get a drop. So there's a possibility you might even get one more running flat here. Now, should we buy this to the upside at this level? There are too many better things to sell or buy than to buy the yen at the top there. Trying to buy the yen at the top is a bad idea, right? This was the buy. We were looking for this to come here, break the low, then go back up, right? This was the top. This one should have come here as an aggressive trade, then look for the move up. Well, it went up as a contracting flat, and that's always the catch in this one. So take this off. I don't know if anybody bought it. If you were there, you probably would have bought it, not above the top, but maybe above this flag here. Let's take that out. Let's go. We don't have anything there. Even if you get a flag here, I wouldn't be buying. But if it reverses, we will sell. We don't have any reversals, so we leave it alone. Swiss would have been a buy, absolutely. Especially since you come and you break the low. When the back, you can look. We kept this here because we thought they will tag this low and go. We thought they'll break the low, but not so far. You probably wouldn't have kept this since it go there. You would have put it here. This would have been the buy, right? That's the last impulse down. You get this, you get this. This would be the correction, and that would be the last impulse down. So this breakout would have been a better buy. I wasn't there, so I don't know what you guys did. But if you get a flag, we'll buy. If it makes a flag, we'll buy. We probably coming back to this top. Coming back to this top here, right? So I'll put it like this. I'll put it like this to see. It's still too big. It doesn't matter how you look at this, it's still too big. So we'll just take it off and wait. Put it on this one really doesn't do us any good. Right? There's a good chance though that we'll watch this piece if we start to make a running flat here. Remember the Aussie and the New Zealand had that possibility where they made the running flat and they dropped. Right? If it drops, we'll come back up here, we'll get this. We'll drop one more and then we'll see if from there they go back up, because we're actually going down in a daily structure that could be corrective, right? We could be doing this downwards. See that? This had its own one here, kind of pull back, go there, come here, pull back, go there, come here. So we can probably put this as some kind of a running flat. If this starts to do that, come back here, go back there, come here, we might eventually get to this low before we go back up. At some point, it might get more corrective too. So I would say we keep an eye out for this. Right? Any flag we get, we buy. But now that we've broken the top, any reversal, just like the yen, we'll take it. So look for flag for buy setup. If it starts to reverse, we'll look for the sell. Right now, it's more of an upside. CAD didn't even break the low. But here's the thing, if you saw this, and this starts to go up, that could have been a buy setup. Right? We were looking for something like this. So the question is, can we still assume that it is? Maybe I'll even go with this one. Take this as a separate one. We're considering that, and this might be the running flat. That would be a better option for a running flat. So you get 1, 2, and we're going for 3. We break that up. There's still a chance we're going to do this back down, right? So downside here is still possible. Because if you take this out, we were looking for this one down, but we got a shorter one. I don't think we'll go with this bigger one. If you pull a trend line here, it's still more corrective upwards, right? It's more like a correction upwards. So let's see. Bigger picture is downside. We're expecting the bigger picture to be downside because this is the top. That's the down move. Let's see what happens above that top. Any flag you buy with caution, it will be an extreme buy, right? It will be a caution buy. Any sell would be a good sell because we'll be coming to break this low. So I'll just leave that open. We don't have any trade in it. Euro yen. Okay, it's coming out now. So if you get a flag above here, we'll buy. If not, let them go there, come back here, and then we'll look for a sell setup on the way down. Right? It can go back down. This could end up being the flat and go down. So you have to make sure you get a flag there before you buy. Otherwise, we can drop again and we'll still be in the correction. Canadian, good one. But it probably would have taken you a while to get it because let me see. No, you probably would have closed that. You would have closed this buy here because you tagged here and then this one and then that one and then go back up. You would have closed that buy. Probably a buy here would be a good idea, right? If you see this, a buy here would be a good idea. So take that off. It went up, but I don't know if anybody got the trade and where you got it from. So we'll put this as a big expanding flat. Triangle, maybe no flat, 2 double flats. Same thing we had here. And wait for a flag or a pullback and go for one more trade. We are coming for this stop. Slowly but surely, we're going to break that up, right? And then from there, we're going to come down. 1 second, guys. Let me just mute for a second. Okay, sorry about that. So it's going to get to that top, which means any flag here now, most likely not flag, but deeper correction. Again, up, deeper correction, up. We're probably going to crawl up to the top there and then drop, right? We want to break this top first. So actually, I'm going to put this line on this stop, see if we can break it, because it's an expansion. Either this thing is an expanding flat, one expanding flat, or it becomes an expanding triangle. So let's see, with this correction in here, like this correction in there, I think we're probably going to come here, come back down, and then go up. Give me a second. It seems like the allergy is still, the after effect of it is still here. Okay, sorry about that. Yes, let's go. So we look for buy setups. Any flag we buy. Take it, get a flag. Yep, we're looking for a flag to buy. New Zealand yen. We're still in this sideways move. It's not going anywhere. This was a buy that probably, let me see in the 1 hour, what would it be like? Yeah, that would be a break even. If you try to buy this here, I don't know, this would be the flag. If you try to buy that, you'll probably close it. If you try to buy this one, you probably will close it. I don't see anything here that, you know, makes sense. It's not clear. It's not going anywhere. In the middle of this, you probably would look for the sell, most likely not the buy. But this one was, we were going to take it to go there. So let's see, we never got to that. So probably put it like this. Can we put it like this and assume that this flat is over? 1, 2, no, I don't think so. I think we're still in this flat. I'll put it like this and we pull this one like this. And we're probably still in that corrective structure. We'll figure it out in the trading room, all the pieces, we look at it in the trading room. So which means I think we're still going to come here. We don't have, there wasn't a flag here for the sell. Wait for another flag. Let it go back up, break the top, wait for a flag, and then we'll look for a sell setup. I'll just move this slightly to fit. Structurally, we're still looking at the same thing. Nothing has changed. So eventually we're looking for this to break down here and then go back up there. All right, so let's see if it's going to happen. Wait for the sell setup. Aussie yen. The buy was first active, which would have been this one, breakout. I think that's a lot of hours. No need to worry about whether you took that trade, it's break even. By all means, now we have this consolidation. And we're kind of coming down. The question is whether we can think that is enough for the running flat. Depending on how you look at this. If we look at this as the running flat, and this could be the end of the structure, wait for a consolidation here, sell. That's one option, right? And that means we're going to drop really big. If we look at it that way, right? We would assume that, well, we haven't broken this top. We haven't broken this top. So if that is the case, this still has to go up more. Even if it comes back, it has to go more. I think this is a running, I will go with this as the running flat. So this could come back here, make another high, and then come down. We're still looking at this as the entire flat, right? So there's a good chance that we get one more down, one more up, and then go. Wait here, let's see if we get a sell setup. If this becomes a sell, I think that's a good idea. It's a little sharp, let's see on the 15. Now on the 15, there's a lot of flags in it, see? So it's not that sharp. You can literally trade this if you want. Trade that 15-minute, put a stop here. You don't want it to break that because even if it breaks that, it could come here and do this and then come back here, right? If you want, you put a stop here. Calculate your risk with that. You don't have to live with that risk. By the way, I think I will have to, today, when I come back, I'll do again, explain this risk management thing because a lot of people probably didn't watch the video or they're misinterpreting what I see. Right, because I was watching in some of the posts over the weekend on trade management where people are varying their risk without understanding what the varies means, right? I know this. Sometimes I explain things and in my head, I explained it perfect. but everybody takes it and interprets it their own way. And then when you see how they're interpreting it, you look at it and you say, like, wait a second, that's not what I meant, right? So when I said double the risk on this one, right, it has nothing to do with the pip size. Don't tell me, okay, this is 150 pips, that's why I'm doubling, or this is 50 pips, that's what. It has to do with the patterns and the possibility of the patterns making a new high. When we said we're reducing the risk on a trade, it has nothing to do with how much the pip stop is going to be 10 pips or 15 pips. It has to do with the possibility that if it goes back up and break that top, it's over. That trade is no longer valid, right? So I have to really explain this again, because I've seen some of the explanation and it gets to you when you look at it. You guys, I mean, don't worry, come back, ask me. And that's why I always say, ask all the questions you want. If you think you're getting it wrong, ask the questions. The reason we would increase this is because I think if they come here and break this top, we're still coming down. So that doesn't end the structure. It just could make you get a loss and then watch it drop. And I actually see that in some of the posts where they put this stop at the wrong place because they want to reduce the risk, and watch it get stopped out and drop. And then they're like, oh my God, what happened? Right? Something is not working. Well, what's not working is not listening carefully and understanding that the patterns, everything you do determined by the patterns you see. Everything, your risk management, your whether you're going to take the trade, whether there's a risk to reward on that trade, whether you should even put on an entry or not, depends on the pattern and whether there is another impulse with possible good risk to reward for you or not. And whether you can manage that trade, because sometimes we trade them counter. If it's a counter trade, then you would have to consider whether you want to take it. In this case, I don't think this is a counter. I think this is a sharp move. That's a consolidation. Again, we know at what point this changes, at what point you take this off. I know that. If this comes here to make it deeper, it will probably come here. If it's going to go back up, or even if it comes here, tag you and go back up and do this, it's still going to drop because we still see this as a correction. If it continues to go up from here and it gets to this top, we will pull that entry because now we're looking for this to come here and then go back up. So remember, when I leave it Friday morning, all the indexes were going up, but they were going up as counter trades in 15 minutes if you're going to buy. And then we know those were flags that were going to drop, and they all dropped. How I know? Because I was sitting at the airport listening to the news. I think when I came here somewhere, I was listening to the news somewhere, and I said, oh, it's one of them. I don't know what was news about, and they were saying the indexes drop, and Dow Jones Industrial drop, and I'm like, okay, why is everybody freaking out? We looked at the pattern and we saw the sharp impulse, and we were waiting for a correction for it to drop, right? There's no reason to make that look unexpected. I heard the news and I was like, I think I remember we had a flag. We had a sharp one like this and we were correcting upwards. And you could have bought this, you could have buy these, but those are very sharp ones. Those are very, aggressive trades. Now this could come here and break through, or it could come here and start to consolidate and still go back up. It could probably tag you and pull back up and then drop. Or don't even drop, come back here and consolidate. You take break even, watch it go back up, make a bigger flat. Let me erase that. Come here, tag you, pull back up like this. You probably don't get a chance to take break even. If you get a chance, you will take break even. Come back here, then go back up and then drop. Now, how many chances you have at break even if you didn't get this one? What you do, you absolutely take that one. No questions asked, because now you get a flat in the middle. You get 1, you get 2, you get 3, and then it drops. See? So everything you do has to be based on what pattern you see in the charts, right? Even including your risk management, whether you're going to change it or not. Unless you have one fixed risk management, which is say, I'm trading this and I'm sticking to that. 0.5%, 1%, whatever your calculation was based on all the trades you're going to take for a period of time. So don't misinterpret this. And by the way, I see some traders have got their own views on breakout trades. I don't have a problem with you having your views on breakout trades. I have a problem with you not explaining that view to other traders and trying to tell them in secret somebody, hey, I will tell you what this breakout trade should work. If you have a different view of the breakout trade, how you think it should be traded, I would appreciate if you come and share it with others. I don't really like the secrecy of telling one person outside of the group what that is. That leaves a very not too clear taste in my mouth as to why is that such a secret? What do you think? You found the golden thing of breakout trades? Breakout trades are very simple. You got an impulse, you get a correction, you look for the breakout. This was a breakout trade. There's no big secret. This is a big flag. This is a big one. That's a breakout trade. But we don't trade this size of the trade. We trade smaller flags inside. But that's a concept of breakout trade. An impulse, a correction, another impulse. Whether you do it in a 1 minute, 5 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, daily, weekly, it doesn't matter. The concept is the same. So I've always said this is an open group. We're open to any ideas. I'm open to any idea, anything, bring them on. Just don't do that, because we have had this issue already where people were misled in the group. We have had that once where people were misled by other traders who thought they know much better. And then most of those traders end up really, really in bad situation. Some of them did come back. I think all of you know the story. We don't want the repeat of that here. Don't let it repeat, because don't get yourself misled. Let's do this open. You have a vision, you have a version, you have something you'd like to share. I am up for it. There is no secret in there. Tell me what you're doing. Let's all look at it. See, you know what? Somebody might like and appreciate what you're doing. I always said that. There are many ways, many strategies of how you can trade. The analysis is the one. There is no change in the analysis, right? It will either go up or go down. We can't have one of us saying it's going up and the other one says it's going. That's different analysis. That's problem, right? That means only one of us is going to be right. So that's why we use an analysis that is good for everybody. The analysis, if you see it different, that's okay. We just have to come and see which one of those are proving that it's best on, best option at the moment. Right? So, okay, let me move on. Just to make sure that everybody is aware of that. Now, this is an open group and all opinions are welcome. I think we passed that. We already did. Aussie yen. Yep, Aussie yen. So I think this one we can go for the sell. It's a very aggressive sell. If you put it, it would be a very aggressive sell. And I think you know what that means. All of you in our group know what an aggressive sell means. Aggressive sell means this is pretty sharp. So we're not convinced that this is the one that dropped, but I like the sell setup. So it's on a 15-minute, you can see the very small flag. It might tag you, pull back. If you don't have the skill level to manage or understand how that changes the pattern, you stay out of this, wait for the 1 hour flag. Swiss yen. Okay, this one went up higher. So I still think we have this. Let me see if we have that with anything else. We don't have it with anything else. Now we'll probably do one of this. See, it kind of go up high and then come back. I think we might even break that up. I don't think we're looking at this as a running flat here. Well, I wasn't looking at it as a running flat. I thought this would actually break. This would break down back and then come. So we're going one more. We're about to break that up. What's the bigger pattern? It's always about, well, what is the bigger pattern? Could it be the end of it? Not as yet. This one has a big problem. See, we have a flat there. We're making another flat there. We go break the top. I still don't like this. It's all the correction. So we'll just have to wait and see what this does. Which means with all the divergence play, I would never be buying at the top there. I simply wouldn't buy anything at the top there. That's all. I don't care which direction you go and what it does. If it's at the top there for a buy, again, that's my risk management. I think that risk is not worth it. So we'll just wait. That go up. You're not in a trade. Wait to see what it is. Euros. Okay, the sell was good. It didn't break. So they broke the low and the reverse. Take this off. We were waiting for consolidation here for a sell. It reverses. Let's see if we get upside now. Go to the daily. Yeah, breaking the low and reverse. It could still be a flat for downside. It could still be a bigger flat there, just like these, just like this one, for example, or this one. So we could still end up with a flat here and then drop again. If you get a flag here, we'll consider whether we're going back to the top. I don't think so. This by itself is a really good flat. So I'm not expecting a deep pullback. I just expect probably another flat. So we go back to the 1 hour. You're getting a kind of a flag here. Sorry, this was this cell. Sorry, let me take it off. We're getting a kind of a flag here that looks like a running flat. Put it on a 15. You'd see that this looks like a running flat here, right? The problem with that is a 15-minute trade. So you have to put an entry above the top and a stop here. And then they can still tag you and then go into the 1 hour consolidation for upside. Right? If more upside is still possible. This on the 1 hour is really sharp. So I'm not expecting this. On the 1 hour, I'm not expecting this to actually, come back down immediately. It's really sharp. So if you want to take this trade, it's an aggressive buy and it's active right now. It's an aggressive buy active right now. And remember, this is one impulse up on the 15. You've got one correction here, you've got a second correction here. This is the fifth wave up, right? So what are the chances this might just tag you here and then pull back to make a deeper correction and then go? There's a chance. But what are the chances that it also does that? That's your risk calculation. You know what it can do, and then you'll have to manage it. I think if you take the trade, the chances are if it goes up and come back, you can get break even. So what you can do if you want to take it is just put it a few pips above where the top is right now, 2 or 3 pips above where the top is right now, and then go for it. Right? So we're putting that as a very high risk trade. I do think they'll pull back for a bigger concern, but I don't know from which point, from this point or higher. Don't keep the stop under this flag, keep the stop here, which means you're increasing your risk, but you're not going to let this tag you and come back all the way to the bottom here to take you out. Right? By rule, we know we're not going to do that. So let's go. You're in New Zealand. Okay, this one went back. If you sold this, you would have got break even. That was an easy one. It actually stayed there for like, I don't know, 10 hours before it actually go back up. It's still a flat, right? You can see that it's just a bigger flat now. Right? This is still a flat. This is an up move. This is a down move. That is an up move. It probably could go a little more. I think we're going to come back here. We could go back up or we could break through depending on how it comes, right? So if you get a buy setup here, don't take it. But if you get a sell, take it. And that means you'll have to watch the euros very carefully. Euro Swiss. Okay, this didn't drop here. It made a new high. So let's see, is it gonna drop now? Right? Question, is it gonna drop now? I'll need a flag before we get into the sell. So we're looking for, you can put the sell under this low. I see it consolidating here. Either this becomes a running flat, a smaller version of a running flat, and it drops to the bottom, or this actually go back, make a new high, pretty much like this, right? Go back, make a new high, and then we drop. But an entry here is a good idea. An entry for a sell there is a good idea. EuroCAD. Take off that sell. And this one never tagged. It actually never even went down. It went up. So that's a really big flat for upside. So you've got a really big flat here, a very big flat right at the bottom. And this go up. Now, is this a correction for more up? Or is it going to drop? Let's see what the bigger picture tells us. Okay, we're expecting more up. We're looking for this, right? Remember, this is the one we're looking for. So I think this will probably pull back, consolidate, make another one, and then we can go for the sell. Then we'll get this running flat. Now, if you get a perfect buy setup, then you take it because this is high risk. If you don't get a perfect buy setup, stay away from it, let it go up, and then we go for the sell. Euro pound, still a sell. This was a buy here to break the top. Remember, we said if they consolidate in this range here, you go for the buy. If they come back to the bottom here, you go for the sell. If you had a sell setup here, no problem, take it off. We're breaking the top. As soon as it breaks the top, we look for a sell setup. We will try to get this sell like this one, right? Like that one, like this one. And we'll try to get one at the top here for downside. So we took this sell, and we'll take this sell because one of them is going to break out. So wait for it to break the top, then look for a sell setup. I would put this looking for a sell setup. We're not looking for a buy setup. So I'll put looking for a sell setup, which means I wanted to break the top, make a flag, and then we sell. I don't think it's going to go very high. We'll probably look at this as a flat. You can see that very clear. So this was your up move. That was a flat, and we're going up. If it makes a very deep correction here, it's a 15-minute buy before it comes up. But you have to have a deep correction before you go for that. Pang Yen. Okay, we're still in the consolidation. You're getting a flag for a sell though. This sell didn't go. This one you would have taken it out because it made a new high. Right, that one didn't go, but you get it. Remember, this was consolidating here. Turned out they break the top and they come down. So we have a big flat here forming. We'll go with this one. Here's a question. Is that a running flat? If you look at this, 1, 1, 2, 3. Right? This looks like it's going to go up there, finish this, and then come down. So I would say put the entry order here for the sell, but if it goes higher, take it off and look for the sell from the top. So we're putting a sell. That is if this drops here. If it doesn't drop, wait for it. 1 second, guys. Let me just Okay, guys, sorry about that. Yeah, there was an important message. I really had to take it. The guy needs the address to get here. He's on the way. So let's go. We can look at this for the sell setup and let's see if we can get it to come down from there. If it goes back to the top, we'll go with the running flat. I still think it's probably a running flat. Pound Swiss. Okay, you got tagged 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think you know what to do. 6 hours. So this would be more like what, a contracting flat here? More like contracting flat. So you get 1, you get 2, you get 3. This has to go back up. I don't know. We can look at this. This is the running flat. We can make an argument for a running flat here. Right? But then we have a really big flat on this one down. And we're at the bottom. I think we could probably make an argument for a running flat here too. As a 1, 2, 3. Go back up there, maybe come down, go back up, make a long drawn out running flat. So any sell at the bottom here, you have to make sure you have a really, really good flag for that. Unless you get that, take the opportunity that you're going to probably pull back. There's a very good chance that this would make a running flat here. I don't really like it for the bigger running flat, but any flag under the low would be a sell. Pound. This was the low. We just wanted to see if they're going to break the low, and they broke the low. So now we have a lot of sharp move here that is unanswered. We have this. We don't have anything to go with it, right? This one is not that sharp. So at some point here, we might have a sharper one to the upside. This did break to the upside as expected. 1 second. This did break to the upside. So it break down first, make this flat, break to the upside, give us this flat. So we both of the trades that you expect would have happened, right? This one came down first, broke the low, go back up, give you that flat. This would have been a perfect sell for downside. So now we wait for another flag, we sell. Any flag we sell. Wait for flag sell. If it reverse, we'll buy, but wait for flag sell for now. Pound New Zealand. Okay, we kind of break out of this, but we haven't broken the top. So we'll probably go with a bigger expanding flat here. If you get a flag here, sell to break the low, just to break this low. So if we get a flag here, we sell to break this low and then upside, because I'll be looking at it this way. If we think this is all the correction, then wait for a bigger correction here and then go up. But in any case, this will go back up. It's just a matter of whether this is all the correction or whether it's making a bigger correction. You could go with this is all the correction, wait for a bigger flat here and then go, or come with a flag, break the low and then go back up. Vamos. Buy setup. We're getting a buy setup. This one is simple. Go with the buy. We're not going to go with anything else but a buy setup here. It has to come a lot lower before we cancel that buy. So that is a buy. Aussie, New Zealand. You may want to close now if you're in this buy and wait for another buy setup. Or wait for the reversal. Sorry, let me go back to the Aussie, New Zealand. We can wait for the reversal. We have a big flat, right? You have 1, 2, you're coming back here for 3 and then go. So if you get a flat sell setup here, go for the sell. Wait for a sell setup and go for it. Aussie CAD. Well, it's coming down already, so we know this one is not that. We'll come back to the one we originally had, which would be this. And this now is all the correction, right? Because of this slow move, we can make an assumption there. Any flag sell. If that is a correction, we're coming to break this low. So any flag we get, we sell. Go to the 1 hour, let's see. Yeah, you had a flag here this morning. I don't know if anybody sold it. You have a flag here. That was been a good sell. If it pulls back to that level, sell it. Aussie CAD. We'll put it here for a sell. Wait for a sell. Aussie CAD. A sell from the top here would have been perfect. Remember the idea. Let it go break this top, then start looking for your sell to the downside. If not, wait for this to make a flag here. It's pulling back. It's going to pull back there. Make a flag. We'll sell this. So look for a sell. We specifically did not buy that up because we said once it breaks this top, we got a big flat forming there. We want the sell. Right now we've got a big flat. If you're right about this, wait for a flag here and sell it down. So I think we've got a sell. It might be a flag already. Go to the 15, see if it's a perfect flag for a sell. If not, wait for it more, pull back and sell it. New Zealand, I have to go fast. I'm late already. New Zealand CAD. Yeah, this sell here would have been good. If you sold it under this one here, also good. Wait for a flag sell. There's a sell set up here forming right now. So we can put a sell. New Zealand Swiss. This sell should have moved up to that flag, right? This was the low of the impulse, but this was a perfect flag for that sell. Wait for a flag here, sell. Right, I'll wait for a flag. I don't think it's a complete flag already. CAD Swiss. Okay, we look like we might be coming down back. I don't think we should, but if they're coming down back from there for a running flat, because we're looking for this move up, right, to complete this as a running flat. But if this is the point where it completes, that should be okay. You get a flag here, sell it. Wait for a flag. So there's a lot of sell setups in the trades. We'll have to see where that goes. Natural gas. Now you get a perfect sell setup. If you got tagged in this one, that could have been a loss. If you got tagged there, well, you probably would have closed it here because that's 1, 2, 3 hours and the market is closing before a gap. You should have closed it, put an entry here. It's still a sell setup. That is still a sell setup. If you get a flag from the top, you probably can do that. US oil, sell, close, break even. Right? This is pretty easy. Sell, close, break even. Take this off. Let's see what we have. We have a flat and we're going up. We have this and we're going up. Should we buy it? Maybe one more up. Might be worth looking at it this way. What if we're doing this? Then there's one more up. If you get a flag here, go for the buy to break this top. And then how far it goes, that depends, right? Because it can come back down. So that's an aggressive buy. Let me put this way. For my traders, that's an aggressive buy. Remember, I'm not showing a trade setup here, right? I'm showing you the way we analyze the market and how we take trades. So it's not a trade call for anyone. For my traders, don't take this one. This one is already at the top. That was a good sell. You probably would have closed for positive, right? This is going up, but it's already at the top. The US oil has more to go. So the chances for break even there is much better by the time it breaks the top. So I'll skip this one. S&P 500, right? So S&P 500, we were looking for this also to go up a little more. But this was the trade, right, for downside. So if you bought that, I hope you managed to close it. A sell under here would have been a good idea under the last impulse. Remember, we had a sell here, and you should have moved it here because this was a flag. This is the top of the structure, and we assume we started selling it from here because we know this is downside with that sharp impulse. So now, if you look at all of this, this is easy to trade now, right? It becomes very easy because you know what you're looking for, right? Any flag here becomes a sell setup to break this low and come to this level. Now, this could mean two things. I hope you guys immediately get the flash. Leading diagonal or correction. Both will have exactly the same move. You can go with 1, 2, 3. I'll even put it here or here. 4, 5. And then either we make a flat and we drop or we reverse. So you will sell this to break this low, and at that point, it will start to do one or two things. It will consolidate into a bigger flat, or it's going to reverse totally. So the first impulse up will be there. When you break the low, there will be an impulse up, a very strong impulse up, either as the first impulse of a bigger flat, or as the first impulse for the total up move. When it breaks the low, start looking for the buy. So you can sell your way down now. I'm going to make this really quick. Any flag sell, any flag sell. I'm just going to put sell setup. Sell setup, any flag sell. This one was a sell already when I left. We had this as a sell because this was a perfect flag to go. So this would have been a sell setup, and this would be sell setup, all of them, right? Sell setups, because those are finished. And structurally, you can see all of them, right? So only one we had a buy setup in, and I think the other two we had sell setups in already. So any sell setup go, the same structure we're looking at. DAX. Okay, pull it like this. Stay away from this. There is a sell to break this low. I still think we're doing this. We're in this consolidation here. So I'll put this consolidation mostly. We're doing this. So we're going to come break this low, go back up for that sharp move, and then total downside. That'll be a huge flat. So you can get one more trade here down, and then you'll get an up move. We'll go with this flat, and then we're going to go with the downside. So, okay, guys, I'm going to do Nifty, and then I'll leave all the cryptos for later. So Nifty. It's dropping, wait for consolidations, sell, right? If it's going to go back up, if it wouldn't consolidate, it will just reverse, right? And if they reverse, you buy above here or buy with any flag here for the upside. Okay, guys, I'll leave you with that. I will come back to the cryptos in part 2. It will be a bit later. Remember, if you're watching this and you watch it to the end, watch part 2, because in part 2, there will be the link for the for the 1 week free webinar. You can start registering now. My traders, please share it as well. Thank you very much. See all of you later. I have to run now, so I'll see all of you guys later. Take care. Bye-bye. Thanks for coming here, guys.